smoking a single pellet of kush for 50 cents.
Yeah, so when you take it, sometimes, it make you forget about the past, it make you forget about the war in there and other things that have been bothering you. So when you take this, you relax yourself for some time. When you use when it is already bodied completed, where you see all will get back on the street looking for money to get some and then buy some to consume.
The individuals addicted to drugs in this area are referred to as zogos, a term akin to zombies. The ruins also shelter many women. To support their drug habit, some of them engage in commercial sex work. I've seen a few women here who are pregnant. What happens when they give birth?
Some people give birth, sell the child. Some people give birth, leave the child in the hospital and escape.
Is it dangerous here for you as women?
Yes, it's dangerous. They come and go out with you, take the money and beat you.
They will just have you free and run away. They will say they give money and beat you and fuck you and go.
Take the money back.
Has that happened to you?
Yes, it happened to everyone on our service.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. The conditions here characterized by rape, drug abuse, violence, and rampant disease are shocking and heartbreaking. People here resort to various means to earn money. Some sell food while others work at the beach pouring concrete. But drug addiction has incapacitated many.
My name is Joy Okra, the CEO of Awo Fields Limited. My company name is Awo Fields. I'm a full-time farmer and then agripreneur. Aside the full-time production on our own field, we also support farmers to produce crops for us, like soya bean, sorghum, maize, and rice. I started by producing soya bean. That year, everything went right. Production was okay, but we had a serious challenge during harvesting time. There was no machine to harvest our soya bean for us, and so we had a serious post-harvest loss. And so that pushed me to start looking for solution. And at that time, I realized the challenges farmers are facing, what farmers go through to produce food, to give food to us. I really felt their pain, so I have to look for a solution for them. So we came across this multi-purpose thresher, and that was it for us. I used it on my farm, and the following year we were able to thresh our produce on time. Though what we have is not enough, but it was able to solve that problem, the challenge that I went through and other farmers are also going through. Farmers are happy, and when I see them happy, that is the greatest motivation to me, to see farmers harvesting their produce, getting quality and premium grain, and as a result giving them premium price. We started since 2020 with 2 machines and on my personal field. So other farmers started approaching me. We couldn't do it alone, so we have to bring in more and also encourage other aggregators to also acquire some, move it to the other districts apart from my district. So far, this machine has been able to employ close to 2,700 plus people. As the machine moved during the season, when it moved to a field, not less than 20 people work on the machine. This is an excellent initiative. I never knew that somebody was watching me. Getting a call from Joy News, I was surprised, and I have to call the person again after the conversation. So it's going a long way to motivate people like us. I'm sure there are other people somewhere doing something in their own way to change lives in their communities. So it's going to be a very excellent, a good program to help people to keep doing what they are doing, because there are times you feel like giving up.
It's a pleasure. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pulse here on Joy News. My name is Elton Brobe. Now, coming up in today's edition, cash and other items seized from the home of former Water and Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah returned as the Office of the Special Prosecutor discontinues all cases against her.
A little over an hour ago, the office discontinued its application that was pending before the High Court for a confirmation of the seizure and freezing orders in pursuance of the referral of the case to Yoko.
But she is not entirely free, as the Office of the Special Prosecutor refers Cecilia Dapaah to the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko, to investigate her for money laundering.
By operation of law, Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko, has a specific and direct mandate in respect of suspected cases of money laundering and its attendant activity of structuring.
Also this afternoon, retired police officer ACP Dr. Benjamin Agozo, who was acquitted and discharged on Thursday, fights back, describing the Attorney General's comments on his acquittal as ignorant.
You are talking about explicit definition, that is common knowledge. But when you look at Arab Spring, it is like any other spontaneous demonstration by citizens to express their dissatisfaction. Do you know that we can, the Kumi Preku could have led to running saying that, okay, I've resigned.
We have exclusive details for you. Plus, the Ghana Journalists Association is urging all media houses in the country to cut ties with the Wutu Senior MP, Mavis Hawakumsen, and refuse her audience on all their media platforms.
All media houses must give total media blackout to Mavis Hawakumsen.
These and more here on The Pulse. My name is Elton Brobe. It's a pleasure to be with you. The Pulse is brought to you by Communities Digilu, affordable, safe sanitation for all. We are live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and myjoyonline.com for these and more. Let's settle for the details now on today's edition of The Pulse. Now, the former Water and Sanitation Minister, Cecilia Dapaah, walked out of an Accra High Court free and all her money and other items seized to be returned to her within 72 hours, following decision by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to discontinue all cases against her. This decision was taken after a series of in-camera, in-chamber hearings on the matter. The Special Prosecutor for months now has had in its custody monies of Cecilia Dapaah seized when her house was searched as part of the investigations. The office also froze some bank accounts of Cecilia Dapaah for allegedly being tainted with corruption and corruption-related activities. After 7 months, the Special Prosecutor, Cecilia Dapaah, told the media that on the totality of the evidence gathered and intelligence, it became clear that the case is largely in the province of suspected money laundering.
On on 24 July 2023, the office placed Ms. Dapaah under arrest on charges of corruption and corruption-related offenses. The office subsequently conducted searches in 3 residential properties associated with Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor at cantonments, Abilinkpe and Tesano in Accra. The searches, which were carried out over a period of 2 weeks, led to the discovery of the cash sums of $590,000 United States dollars and 2,730,000 cedis. Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor could not readily provide a reasonable explanation as to the sources of the cash sums. Authorized officers of the office seized the discovered cash sums on reasonable grounds that they were suspected tainted property, in accordance with Section 32(1) of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, as it was necessary to exercise the power of seizure to prevent concealment of the cash sums. The Special Prosecutor, considering it necessary to facilitate the investigations, issued a freezing order against the bank accounts and investments of Ms. Dapaah, domiciled at Prudential Bank Limited and Societe Generale Ghana. Upon the refusal by the High Court to confirm the freezing and seizure orders in August 2023, the office re-seized the cash sums and refroze the bank accounts and investments and applied to the court again for confirmation. In FT 0074-2023, the Special Prosecutor versus Cecilia Dapaah and Daniel Osei Kufuor. Extensive investigation was conducted in-country involving 20 persons and 3 state institutions, and especially in the Ashanti region, to establish the financial standing of Ms. Dapaah's deceased brother during his lifetime and at the time of his death, since it was alleged that a substantial portion of the cash sums belonged to Ms. Dapaah's deceased brother. From October 2023, the investigation became cross-border and transboundary upon the claim by the persons of interest that part of the seized cash sums was transported to Ghana from the United States. For that reason, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, of the United States became involved in a collaborative investigative work with the office on the matter. Investigation has been aimed at determining the sources of the large cash sums associated with Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor. The office has had the benefit of 7 months of in-country and 4 months of collaborative transboundary investigation. Members of the press, on the totality of the gathered evidence and intelligence, it seems to us that the case is largely in the province of suspected money laundering and structuring. By operation of law, Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has a specific and direct mandate in respect of suspected cases of money laundering and its attendant activity of structuring. Of the Special Prosecutor is referring the case to EOCO for continued investigation and further action. The office will be in close collaboration with EOCO and continued collaboration with the FBI. A little over an hour ago, the office discontinued its application that was pending before the High Court for a confirmation of the seizure and freezing orders in pursuance of the referral of the case to EOCO. The court ordered that the office should return the cash sums and defreeze the accounts of an investment of Ms. Dapaah within 72 hours. The office also discontinued the procedural criminal charge against Ms. Dapaah for failure to return forms on declaration of property and income, since that was mounted on the original application for confirmation of the seizure and freezing orders, which was discontinued earlier in time.
Now the question remains whether the entire exercise was a waste of time. Cecilia Dapaah disagrees.
How do you sum it up? Does it suggest that perhaps not a thorough investigation went into it? That's how come all of this is up, because from what you've told us, the EOCO angle perhaps looks more promising in terms of going on with this case.
Elton, on the contrary, it is an extensive investigation of the FBI that has led us to this conclusion. If the Office of the Special Prosecutor had a direct mandate by law in respect of suspected money laundering and structuring, there will be no such referral. But we operate within the confines of the law. And since the law that created the OSP did not necessarily grant such a direct mandate in respect of suspected money laundering, but the law that created the Economic and Organized Crime Office states specifically that they have a mandate in respect of suspected money laundering. Now, after 7 months of investigation, we have a body of evidence. So if we have come to the conclusion that it suggests, it seems to us that it is more in relation to suspected money laundering, then the proper thing to do is to refer it to the state institution, which by law has a direct mandate, as stated in the Act.
I'm Joseph Akabla. The first question has to do with the intervening period between now and when IOCO takes over. I know that the whole idea of the freezing and seizure order was to preserve those assets and prevent them from being dissipated. The court has given an order. Are there any plans to collaborate with IOCO perhaps for them to hold on to it within this period? And the second one, there are those who also make the point that maybe at the initial levels, a careful analysis maybe would have led you to this conclusion even before you commenced. How do you react to those who say that from the onset they pointed you to this conclusion as one that you arrive at?
All right. See, hindsight wisdom is always awesome. Those who are saying that are only doing so with hindsight wisdom, it's because we've had 7 months of such extensive investigation to come to the conclusion we've arrived at. You cannot begin a case when you cannot begin making conclusions on a case a week or two after commencing investigation. But after piecing together all your evidence and all the testimony and everything that you have done, something should then suggest to you. If after 7 months we did not have anything, we will just let it go. You get it? But after 7 months, I think that we should be commended that we've been able to do such extensive work and have international collaboration as part of this matter. That is to say, we left no stone unturned, and that is what is leading us to this outcome as I just announced. So once again, I will say, it is very nice to have hindsight wisdom, but we did not have the benefit of hindsight wisdom. We have arrived at the present wisdom through hard work and sheer grit.
I just want to, if there's an update on the payroll audit, which you announced at your last news conference with us, and whether you are getting the needed cooperation from those who are asking the question. And secondly, I'm just going through your half-year report, and the one that came up in June, the one that came up in January, almost a repetition of the many cases before you, and the ones you've come to a conclusion on, the Charles Dubois Hen, the issue about the other matters. My question is, there's been a lot of repetition in most of the reports that you've come up with, and Ghanaians have faith in this office to lead a fight against corruption. Should we continue to still have faith in you that the mandate you've been given will inure to the benefit of the country, in view of the fact that after the establishment of the office, clearly for a lot of people, we are yet to see clear-cut conviction on the many cases that are before you? Thank you.
The day you lose faith in this office is the day the soul of this country dies. See, the repetition you see is merely as a result of the period within which the law requires the office to report. 6 months. See, even when you are prosecuting a matter in court, 6 months, by the reckoning, it's like a day. You get it? If the law had required us to make periodic reports, let's say 2 years, 3 years, you won't see this level of repetition. But what is so bad about repetition, especially when the matter is still pending and the matter is not yet resolved? And you would see that although much of it looks like repetition, there's always a slight update in respect of the cases. Some are moved up in respect of the level at which the office has gotten to and whether the office is going to take further action. So you see that case reported in June, that the office is still ongoing with the investigations. Then in December, you see that the office has concluded the investigation in respect of that matter, and that the special prosecutor will be giving further directions along those lines.
So that's the Special Prosecutor Cecilia Dapaah earlier this morning at the office of the OSP, updating us on decision they've taken regarding the prosecution of former Water and Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah. And of course, he also took advantage of the press conference to update us on some of the cases that are before it. So we are now going to explore what we're told this morning and to establish whether the fight against corruption is still ongoing and whether or not you are surprised about the outcome of the Special Prosecutor's case against Madam Cecilia Dapaah. You can join us via our social media handles and leave your comment there. But let me bring in now Edem Senanu. He's with Stand Ghana. We'll also be speaking to private legal practitioner Ni Papo Samuel Ado with some perspective on the matter. Mr. Senanu, you're welcome to the pause here on Joy News.
Thank you for having me.
Right. So you've been listening to Mr. Cecilia Dapaah justifying the reasons why his office is unable to continue with the prosecution of Madam Cecilia Dapaah and has referred aspect of the case to IOCO. What is your initial response to this?
Well, I am delighted that they've been able to get to the point where the FBI has confirmed that some of these monies are tainted, which tells us that the investigation was not without benefit. The challenge is that in our jurisdiction, the money laundering that the FBI has said they feel that there's significant reason to say that there's been money laundering comes under a different agency. And so now it will put to test the capacity for inter-agency collaboration to see this case to an end. And that's where I see a challenge. But otherwise, having stayed the course and brought the FBI on board and being able to establish that there is a problem, I think that it is a justification for they having taken the effort to go through the process.
But overall, are you satisfied with the way the OSP has handled this matter?
Well, I think so. I think that two things have stood out in the course of this. One, the court challenges they've had where over and over again they were asked to defreeze and release. In my mind, we should have a framework where once investigations are on at least for a certain period, perhaps at least about 6 months, the agency is allowed to do its investigation. And I think the OSP needs to work much more strongly with the judiciary, such that these things can happen, because at the end of the day, the facts will be available to all of us to assess whether the conclusions they are drawing are valid or they are not, they don't have the legitimacy based on the facts and evidence adduced. So I think that the court experiences tended to make us wonder, are we working together or not? I think that internally also, the fact that our law separates things into different agencies, maybe we need to look at that closely so that we are not having a situation where somebody begins and along the line, you've got to give to somebody else and we're not too sure what the outcome will be.
All right, so just hold on for me there. Let me bring in private legal practitioner Ni Papo Samuel Ado. Let me also pick his initial reaction to the announcement by the Office of the Special Prosecutor this morning. Counsel, you're welcome to the pause. You enjoy this.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers.
And it's great to have you here. So, first of all, let me ask you your initial reaction to the position taken by the OSP relating to Madam Cecilia Dapaah.
Well, I think it's the honorable thing to do. I mean, you wouldn't want a situation where the a law enforcement agency realizes that it's the investigation or its jurisdiction has been invoked, it goes into a matter and realizes that, well, the results of my investigations show that the matters are no longer matters that by law I am allowed to investigate, and yet will stubbornly hang on to those matters and pretend as if it has a mandate to do. That was mark of persecution. So it has gone into the matter. The OSP realizes that, well, the investigations do not point me to offenses that my act allows me to investigate, but there's something that I think that another agency or law enforcement agency is more equipped and better placed or positioned to look into. So it has referred the matter to Yoko, and it has given hints that there are issues of money laundering and other things that must be looked at by Yoko. So now we would now expect the Economic and Organized Crime Office to now go into the matter and give us further and better, clarification. So it is not as if Cecilia Dapaah has been declared, or the investigations, let me put this, the investigations have been declared to have come to an end. No, another state agency is now being asked to look into this matter because investigations have pointed to another set of possible offenses which that agency is mandated to investigate. So I think as the media, your responsibility now is to go to Yoko and ask the executive director what he or she is doing in respect of the referral. One, has there been a referral? That's the first thing we must ascertain. Has the OSP by a letter and a docket referred this matter to the Yoko office? That's the first thing you must find out. Two, what are the details of the investigations that have been sent to Yoko? Has Yoko commenced any investigations? Have they invited Madam Cecilia Dapaah? Have they taken a statement from her? What are the next steps that they are taking? Are they freezing the assets? Because now the matter is squarely in the hands of Yoko. And if we know Yoko's mandate, we know that where they are engaged in investigations and there are alleged proceeds of crime, the law allows them to go to court to seek a freezing order. So within these 72 hours, which the court has given to the OSP to release the funds, if indeed the OSP has acted proactively, that's the key word, has acted proactively, and has handed over the docket and all information, relevant information, to the Yoko office, I expect the Yoko office to be heading to court seeking a freezing order on the said funds, because the OSP was categorical that the funds that were under investigations are possible proceeds of money laundering and corruption. So there is enough for the Yoko office to at least, as a first step, seek a court order to freeze those assets.
Right, so setting the Yoko angle aside, the OSP initial road, the road that it took was to establish the fact that the money it had taken from the home of Madam Cecilia Dapaah were tainted property, and then went on to also institute another case against her where the OSP said that she failed to declare her assets and property when the form was provided to her. These were the two matters that initially engaged the attention of the OSP, and later the angle of the money laundering came in. Do you think, upon a hindsight, if you're looking at the mandate of the OSP, investigation is one of it. If thorough investigation was done and the way things went on in the court, would you say that the OSP did a good job?
Well, the OSP is not there. The thing is this: the OSP is not there to declare anybody guilty or not guilty. That's the first thing everybody must understand. A prosecutor is not a persecutor, and an investigator does not arrive at pre-arrayed conclusions. So once a report is made, it has a duty to what? Investigate. It is when you investigate that you come to some conclusions. So you cannot fault the OSP for investigating. If it did not investigate, we will be the same people shouting and crying that this OSP is in bed with the government and is not doing its work and all that. My concern now is that What is the OSP? Has the OSP sent or transferred the docket to what? To Yoko?
The information I've picked is that they've done so.
Okay, so if you can confirm they've done so, what is Yoko doing? Because remember, the proceeds is what we in the public are interested in. If the proceeds disappear, the investigation is useless. So within the 72-hour window, has Yoko gone to court to get a court-freezing order? That is what we should be interested in.
So the court has given the OSP 72 hours to return.
No, you don't get it. Listen.
Yes.
Now the matter is with Yoko. Yoko on its own is mandated by its act to get a freezing order on suspected funds that are proceeds of money laundering. Do you understand? So unless you are telling me, see, the thing is this: if we allow within the 72 hours or after the 72 hours, the proceeds to go back to the alleged suspect,
right,
and the money gets missing, what are you investigating? So what we should be interested in is whether Yoko has prepared the necessary documents and is heading to court, you understand, to freeze those assets.
But that action, I'm sure, can happen after the OSP has complied with the directive of the court. That will be a separate.
But why do you have to wait?
No, you don't have to wait.
Yes, but I'm saying that will be a separate action that only Yoko can undertake.
No, you don't have to wait. You see.
That's the point he's making.
No, I'm saying that these are two independent bodies. Yoko can take the step to freeze these actions. That is on their own. But for now, the court says that.
Yes, listen. At the end of the day, the OSP has come to the conclusion that the monies, and it made a categorical statement. It said the monies per its investigations are not corruption offense related matters for which it can investigate. However, its conclusions point to a money laundering, you understand, scheme and some structuring meant to do money laundering. Money laundering falls within the firm ambit of Yoko.
Right.
Once the matter had been referred to Yoko, before it went to court, the OSP went to court today to inform the court that it was no longer investigating the matters, and so it is discontinuing the case. And then the court, of course, will make a consequential order, release the money. If I'm the lawyer for the accused person, I'll say yes, I want my money back. The OSP had done the state a good service by referring the matter to Yoko. We are expected, that is what I'm asking you, the journalists, to do. Go to Yoko and ask Yoko. You have, number one, have you received the docket? You have confirmed to me that you have checked from Yoko. And indeed, have you checked from Yoko to find out whether they have received the docket from the OSP?
But the information you have that the OSP, they've provided Yoko with all the information that Yoko needs.
No, I'm asking whether you have checked from Yoko.
Yoko is unable to respond to the matter as of now. That is the information we have.
Why wouldn't they respond? It's a matter of public knowledge. If you put in a right of information request, they cannot deny it.
Of course.
You have every right to ask them. You are not asking them for the details of the investigation. You are asking them whether the OSP has transferred the docket to you. They will have to confirm. And you must work your sources and find out. The second point is that, are they inclined to go for an order to freeze the assets? If those assets are released to the suspect and they get missing, you are wasting your time. Then our fight against corruption is useless.
So what do you expect?
That's what I'm saying.
So counsel, what do you expect to be done within the 72 hours that this money is expected to go back to the original owner?
I think that the OSP has done very well by referring the matter to Yoko, even before it went to court, to inform the court formally about the fact that it was no longer conducting investigations into this matter. That means that it has given its sister institution enough time, number one, to study the docket, number two, to proactively go to court and seek a freezing order. And they are giving that freezing order without even a court order, so that they can independently freeze the assets and go to court for confirmation. And this has to do with what? Money laundering, allegedly. So that is what we are expecting Yoko to do. Any, well, I wouldn't say deliberate, but any delay, any delay on the part of Yoko to go to court to get a freezing order will defeat the purpose of fighting corruption in this country.
Adam, you wanted to make a point.
Well, yeah, I think he's made a point very, very concisely. The thing is that one would have expected that the OSP has already engaged IOCO, alerted them, prepared them in advance that, our investigations together with the FBI over the last several months, in the last 4 months especially, point in a particular direction. What that means is that in our jurisdiction, the other jurisdictions where money laundering would have come under the special prosecutor, here it doesn't. So we are going to have to hand this over to you. We want you to be aware of the facts. And we are going to court to establish that we are terminating our interest and handing over to you. What should have happened by now is that IOCO, seized with the facts, would also prepare to go to court to make sure that all the sums of money potentially tainted based on the money laundering, context, are being frozen. And that's the point that Nee is making. I absolutely agree with that. We would have lost the case. Don't remember ABAJ? Before we knew it, in between these court processes, the money had disappeared. And then what's the case about? So we are all expecting that media will start asking that question. IOCO, are you going to court? Mind you, we are approaching a weekend, and therefore the question is that by Monday, what will we be hearing? Anything except for having also frozen so that they can also do the investigation. Because no matter when you hand over from one agency to another, that agency too will have to do its background checks and due diligence to arrive at its own conclusions. So between now and Monday, the question is, what is going to happen? What is IOCO going to do?
In fact, what I can say for sure is that on the part of the OSP, they tell us that they provided all the information and they stand in readiness to assist IOCO if they should need any further information on the investigation they've conducted relating to the subject of money laundering that they have established on Madam Cecilia Dapaah. IOCO, they've not confirmed receipt of this. All information we have picked from our sources is that they are unable to comment as of now. And so
that's what is worrying. I wish we could get exactly. That's what's worrying. Well, how can they not confirm if the docket has been given to them, if the facts have been given to them? What's the difficulty in confirming? In fact, that's the challenge we have with the other anti-corruption agencies. It is why in the OSP law we put that 6-month thing. But all of them should have learned by now that citizens of Ghana prefer that you are upfront with us. You come regularly to the public space and tell us what you are doing. Otherwise, how is the public service? How are you serving the best interests of this country if you cannot tell us whether you are seized with the facts and you have the docket? That is not the way to go.
But Adam, generally on the way the OSP has conducted itself on this matter and other matters, you are an anti-corruption agent. Are you happy with the way it is progressing? I put a question to Mr. Cecilia Dapaah, and he says that the day this office is closed down, then we would have lost the fight against corruption.
Well, I'll tell you, the only institution that gives me some hope at the moment, significantly, is the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The only group that seems to be proactive, appear to be not taking sides and objective, and focused on getting their job done, and are not afraid to speak to the issues. I'm not to slight anybody, but I feel like the young people there are showing us that they are people with integrity and honesty who can do the hard work to get results. If all the other agencies were doing what is going on in the Office of the Special Prosecutor, trust me, the impunity we see would have been reduced. But because many of the other places we are not seeing results, we are not getting feedback, people think that, it's a laissez-faire. Anybody can do what they want. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that the OSP has done very well. I am glad that they are focused, managed to get the FBI on board. I think that is a very significant achievement, to get the FBI on board, for them to also do the investigation and provide additional facts that get us in a certain direction. I think that they should be commended for how far they have come.
Counsel, same question. Some few months ago, the OSP was in the news accusing some members in the judiciary of frustrating his work. Now, you have looked at the half-year report and all the work that is done. Are we on course? The fight against corruption within reach?
Unfortunately, I didn't hear the question.
No, I was asking. You have followed the work of the OSP, and some few months ago, the OSP was in the news accusing some members of the judiciary of frustrating his work. And I'm saying that you have also studied the half-year report.
The difficulty.
Is it better now?
I can hear you now.
Thank you very much. So I was asking, I mean, you followed the activities of the special, very well. You have followed the activities of the Special Prosecutor. In October, he was in the news accusing some members of the judiciary of frustrating the work of the OSP. You've read the half-year reports. Are you convinced that we are on the right track in terms of dealing with corruption and corruption-related activity, as far as the OSP is concerned?
Okay, so this was my reaction back then to issues to do with his complaints there. I said, one, the OSP needs to hold dialogue with the judicial service. And I was happy when the judicial service issued a joint communique with the office of the OSP in respect of interinstitutional cooperation. Well, it's important. The second was that I recommended that the rules of court committee needs to look at making specific court rules in respect of the office of the OSP and how it will undertake its prosecutions. It's important because you see, the OSP's office is a specialized agency. Number one, it needs its own specialized courts. Number two, its rules, the rules or operational rules, how it is supposed to deal with its investigations and also its orders. The orders it can seek from the court so as to extend its investigations, orders on the freezing and all that, they need to be relooked at. Because you see, if the rules are like the normal court rules, what happens is you can actually incapacitate the ability of the OSP to achieve speedy and early resolution of matters. At the same time, you must also balance the rights of the suspects. So I think some of the challenges that he's facing calls for a relook at its operational rules and also the rules of court that it would govern it when it comes to its court-related matters. So those were the major things I called for by way of, institutional reform and legal reform in respect of the work of the OSP. Right. But generally, I think that there's room for improvement. There's room for, better communication. There's room for better interagency relations, and I think that by and large, if we do these things, we can continue to try and defeat the canker of corruption, because the day we give up on the fight against corruption, forget it, Ghana is doomed.
All right, thank you very much. Let's end it here. And we are still keeping an eye. We are still working to get you responses especially from the EOCO, their initial responses that they are unable to comment on this matter. But we do understand that the Office of the Special Prosecutor provided them with all the information, all the documentation that they require, and they've made it clear that they stand in readiness to provide even more should they require of them. So we'll check on that. But I'd like to say a very big thank you for joining us as we explore the matters that came up this morning. Private legal practitioner Ni Samuel Papuado, and of course Adam Senenu with Send Ghana, an anti-corruption agent. Adam, thank you very much for your time. All right. You are watching the pulse here on Joy News. We have other stories, and the Ghana Journalists Association is urging all media houses across the country to cut ties with Awutu Senya East Member of Parliament, Mavis Hawakumsi, who is also the Fisheries Minister, and refuse her audience on all media platforms until the perpetrators that attacked the morning show host of Cape FM, David Kobina, are brought to book. David Kobina was assaulted by thugs believed to be supporters of Madam Hawakumsi on January 4 during the MPP's parliamentary vetting in the Central Regional Capital, Cape Coast, after he was mistaken for a different journalist who the thugs claim made distasteful comments about the MP on UTV.
Having consulted with our partner institutions, including GIBA and PREPAC, as well as senior members of the association and heads of media institutions, the Ghana Journalists Association hereby calls as follows. 1. All media houses must give total media blackout to Mavis Awa Kumsin and stay away from her as MP, Minister of State, or any other public capacity and position she may hold. This is because we believe there are attacks on reasonable and evil-minded people around the MP who pose serious threat to the lives of journalists and other media practitioners. I must emphasize that we have nothing against the person of the MP, but we are scared of people around there. 2, the MPP leadership at the national and regional level must endeavor to fish out the thugs who assaulted David and sanction them appropriately. 3, the Ghana Police Service must speed up with investigations into the assault case and prosecute the perpetrators. And 4, the Ghana Police Service must identify and sanction the purported police officer who invited David and watched on while the innocent morning show host was beaten mercilessly by the thugs. Colleagues, our call for total media blackout on Honorable Mavis Awa Kumsin is with immediate effect and until further notice. We may reconsider it when we see evidence of action by the MPP and the Ghana Police Service to identify, arrest, and prosecute the thugs. We are following this case with keen interest, and we shall periodically review it and update the general public on same. Colleagues, we urge all media houses to rally behind our call and ensure that it has a biting effect. This call is in our collective interest. Let's bear in mind that there are dangerous people around Honorable Mavis Awa Kumsin. They can kill you. Whether you are in the studio, home, church, mosque, or public gathering, they can come for your life.
And the Ghana Journalists Association taking a tough stance against the member of parliament for Wutusenya East, Mavis Awa Kumsin. Now we have in the studio Ohene Kwabena David, the journalist who was Ohene Kwame Davis, who was attacked by thugs of Madam Awa Kumsin. So tell me your story.
Okay, so I'm David Kwabena, but in the media fraternity I'm known as Ohene Kwame David.
Right.
Yes. So as we all know, the NPP party scheduled on the 4th of January 2024 for the Infantine and then Wutusenya East to be vetted at the Regional Coordinating Council there in Cape Coast. And so as media personnel went there to capture the story just after the vetting and maybe the balloting have been done. And so there's a shelter at the RCC. We were seated there waiting patiently for the vetting to be over so that we'll have that opportunity to interview. So upon waiting, 2 ladies came to ask if I'm called Jacob. And I said I'm not Jacob, I'm David. And I also told them I work with Cape FM, I'm the morning show host. And then they said I resemble somebody at UTV. And so we ended the day. Just after 30 to 40 minutes, a gentleman approached me and then he said he'd want to ask me something. And so when I gave him my audience, he asked me in a quiet mood that, was I the guy that was seated at UTV insulting Honorable Awa Kumsin?
The same person they are trying to put on you and you deny that you were not that person?
Yes.
By the lady that came first?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I replied, no, I'm not the one. Seriously, I don't know where the premises of UTV is. I've not been there before. I work with Cape FM. And I'm the morning show host for the station. And he insisted that I was the one. In fact, I'm the one. And so I also insisted, of course, I'm not the one. I cannot accept the fact that you are saying I'm the one. And so I showed him my press card. My picture was on it. I left it in my bag. And he was like, no, it's me. So he also brought out...
You were still not convinced, even though when you had officially identified yourself with your ID card?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he also brought out a phone where there was a picture on the phone. And he showed it to me and asked me, am I not the one? And he should look at the picture and look at me. I'm not the one.
By all means, you should accept the person you were looking for. Whether you like it or not, you should be the one.
That is what he wanted me to do. Mm-hmm. But since I'm not the one, I mean, I cannot claim that I'm you, whilst I'm not you. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have my personality. As I told you, I'm not the one. So upon exchanging words that I'm not the one, then I receive a slap from behind.
From a different person?
Yes. Telling myself another slap. Before I realized, about 15 body-built guys pounded on me, and they were beating me all about.
And there was no security, like police, available at the time?
Yeah, the wearing at the premises, I mean the compound, they are only at the checkpoint, at the entrance of the place, RCC. And so, yes, they might hear the noise and all that, but they didn't come around.
But at the time they subjected you to beating, some of your colleagues were available?
Yeah, I was actually standing with about 2 of them, so we were 3 at a time. And so when they called me, they were also doing their thing. So after I screamed, I was shouting, and then calling them to come before all of them came around and then rescued me.
And at the time, the Minister for Fisheries, Howard Kumisen, was also within the premises, right?
Yes, please. She was in the banquet hall. Yes, waiting for other people to be vetted, and then the balloting will take place.
Did she see what was going on?
Yes, because the regional organizer, Mr. Anthony Saki, called her on phone in front of us. When he saw what has happened, he said that it was bad, and so the woman need to know. So Anthony Saki called Honorable Kumsen to the place. So upon reaching where we were, she stood and called Anthony Saki to meet her in a distance. And then Anthony Saki told her whatever he would say to her and pointed at me. But Honorable Kumsen didn't come to me.
She didn't speak to you? She didn't intervene? Never. She didn't find out what was going on?
And she left.
And she left?
Yes.
So did you suffer any physical injuries?
Yes, it was internal. That's what the doctors told me. It was internal. Yes, I received a little cut here, but because it is 3 weeks ago, it is healed. As I speak with you, I feel pain at my rib side and then my...
And did you inform the police about it in terms of official complaint to the police?
Yes. That very evening, we reported the case at the Kotokora police station. Reported there. It was then that gave me the doctor's report, that police report rather, that I went to Interbeton for checkup.
And what has been the status of the case? Have they made any progress on that? Has anybody been arrested?
No.
Nobody has been arrested. And you are able to identify these individuals that attacked you?
We've been able to identify 2. I mean, the 2 girls that initially approached me and asked if I'm Jacob. Yeah, we've gotten their pictures.
Did they take part in the beating?
No, but they were there. And then, the guy that came to call me, and that he wanted to ask me something. Yes, we've gotten his picture. And then one of the guys that took part in the beating. Yes. So we've given the 2 ladies' picture and the other guy that took part in the beating to the CID.
And there's not been any progress? As far as you are concerned, the police, they've not gotten back to you to tell you that this is how far we've gone in your case, these are the arrests we've made, and this is where we are taking it to. Nothing of a sort.
No, they told me I will hear from them.
This person they were looking for and came to you saying that that person is you. This person they were looking for, do you know him?
I don't know him.
Is he your brother?
No.
Go again. The person they were looking for.
The person they were looking
for? Yes. Do you know him?
Well, I have a brother called Jacob, but I don't know if he's the one they were looking for.
You have a brother called Jacob?
Yes.
And when they approached you, they mentioned the name Jacob?
Yes. No, the first two ladies that approached me mentioned the name Jacob. But the guy that called, that he wanted to ask me something, asked me if I'm the one who went to sit at UTV insulting Honorable Haukumsi. And I refuted it.
And this brother of yours who is called Jacob, did he go on UTV to
Never.
He's never been on UTV?
No.
So what is your description of this whole thing?
Well, I can't tell because I provided my ID card to prove that I've not been to UTV before. I don't work with them. And they didn't understand. Maybe he wanted to listen to me.
This incident took place on the 4th of January.
Yes, please.
You've made a report to the police.
Yes, please.
What about the political party? Have they made any attempt to sort of talk to you about it?
Okay, that very day that the issue occurred, we had the opportunity to meet Mr. Peter McMenu. He was the chairman for the vetting committee that day. And so we told him, and then he asked us to wait. But because I was suffering from the pains, they took me to the hospital. And then Mr. Peter McMahon left 1,400 to be given to me.
As what?
As money to be taking care of my condition.
To money to take care of your hospital bill?
Yeah.
1,400 Ghana cedis?
Yes, please. And so he gave the money to Mr. Blankson. He's the regional communication director for the NPP. And so he told him I wouldn't take the money because it's not up to the bills. And he insisted and pleaded with me that we should take the money and that, if anything, we will hear from them.
You belong to the Central Regional GJA caucus, right? Yes. Well, what is the position of the region before we come to what the national has done today?
Again?
I'm asking about the position taken by the Central Regional branch of the GJA before we come to what the national has done today.
Okay, so the Central Regional branch, I called the regional secretary and I gave him the update of what has happened. So, whatever happens, I used to communicate with him. It was him that communicated with the national before they took up the story.
And today, the national office took a decision to boycott all activities relating to Madam Hawa Kumsin.
Yes.
Yes, and she's also contesting in the upcoming MPP parliamentary primaries in her constituency.
Yes.
So that is the position that the Central Region media, your expectations that they will comply with the action taken by the GJA?
We are an organization and we have leaders of it. And so I believe that if a decision will be taken, it will be taken in consideration of we the members. Okay, thinking about our health, our life and everything. So I think it is the right thing.
So the GJA has taken a very tough stance. Personally, are you sort of seeking compensation or what? What do you expect the police to do?
I am only calling for justice. I'm not calling for any compensation. Because, my brother, what has happened to me today can happen to somebody else. Yes. And I wouldn't know what would have happened if I didn't get anybody to help me out. Yes. So I'm only calling for justice.
All right. Thank you very much for passing through to share your story with us. That's the morning show host of Cape FM.
Yes, please.
Kwabena, right?
Yeah.
Kwabena. We pray that at least there will be some resolution on this matter going forward, because there's been too many attacks on journalists practicing their noble profession in this country.
It's too bad.
All right. You're still watching The Pulse here on Joy News. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with more.
Daddy, this tank is big!
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow! It has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see S-I-N-T-E-X. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
But it's fast and it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntax was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntax again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntax gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntax is the answer. Syntax tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
The marriage, you get the certificate before you get into the marriage, so you don't know what is ahead of you.
What would make your partner walk out of the relationship?
Probably when he finds me cheating.
So come on, if you handle the body or what? What's his waist size?
It's in here. When I get home, I'll explain it.
Also, Papa, 2 years or 3 years ago, I say, I can't play.
I want to go into politics. You want to go into politics? Not 5 years, not 5 years.
If you love me right.
Welcome back and to some other stories now. An embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police, Dr. Benjamin Agojo, retired, has described as ignorant the Attorney General's reaction to his acquittal. 6 individuals implicated in the alleged coup plot were convicted for conspiracy to commit high treason and committing high treason. However, a retired police officer and 2 others were acquitted. Reacting to the judgment, the Attorney General decried the senior police officer's comments, which suggested the nation was at risk of Arab Spring. But speaking to Raymond Accra in an exclusive interview yet to be aired on Upfront later today, the retired ACP faulted the AG's understanding of the expression he used.
The only thing that sends some jitters in their spine and whatever is the fact that I mentioned Arab Spring. And yesterday, one minister was still talking about that, despite my acquittal and discharge. He thought that I shouldn't. Do they? And I think that they are.
The Attorney General himself, and I heard him speak. He says, "What business has a senior police officer, a serving officer, staying on a platform and talking about Arab Spring?"
Does he understand Arab Spring? If he doesn't, he should keep quiet. If he doesn't understand Arab Spring, he should keep quiet.
But he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer, but being a lawyer doesn't mean that you know everything. You can be a lawyer and be an ignoramus in an area. I teach conflict. Do you understand me? I told you I teach conflict at even MPhil level. I teach it at Kofi Annan, I teach it at all level. Arab Arab Spring or civil uprising and other things are democratic means of expressing dissent in every society. Today we espouse people like Martin Luther King and other things. Why are we espousing them?
But we knew in 2011
yes,
that this things led to the removal of government. Tunisian example is clear. The other countries within the Arab regions, that the explicit definition and appreciation.
You are talking about explicit definition. That is common knowledge.
Yes.
But when you look at Arab Spring, it is like any other spontaneous demonstration by citizens to express their dissatisfaction.
Which in the reality and the examples...
If it leads to the fact that a government decides that, do you know that we can... The Kumi Preku could have led to Rawlings saying that, okay, I've resigned. Could it have been called Arab Spring? The Kumi Preku in Ghana,
I'm not sure.
Could have led to Rawlings saying, okay, I've resigned. Once the VAT has been defeated and other things, I've resigned. When you go to the literature, go and Google it anywhere. Be careful you don't go to Wikipedia.
I get that, of course.
Because when you go to Wikipedia will give you some definition of a rebellion, a mutiny, and other things. And I proved to the prosecution in court that when they need a definition to issues, they should not go to Wikipedia, because they came out with a Wikipedia definition which I drew the attention to. And they could not talk about it again. So go to
the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana.
I'm saying the prosecution team.
Okay, all right.
Whoever was representing them, and it's on record. I can produce. It's a court record, and I can give you.
But that should be very strange. I mean.
Yes. So at the end of the day, you come to appreciate the fact that when you go to Wikipedia definition, it will tell you it's a mutiny. It is so and so. But go to other definitions which are acceptable in academia, because when you quote today, you quote Wikipedia definitions. In academia, in the universities, they will not take you serious.
I get it. I know that. Every student of a university would know that. That's basically.
So I'm saying that when you want to know the real definition of Arab Spring, don't go to Wikipedia. Go to other sources and it will tell you the real meaning of it.
And you say that's what they confronted you with, a Wikipedia definition of it.
A Wikipedia definition and their myopic understanding of that term. And that is what they confront. And that's what they have held on to till today. And that's what Attorney General is still holding on to. He should go and learn. He should go and learn. Because he's not dealing with just people. He's dealing with people who have also climbed the ladder somewhere.
I get that. What exactly did you say about Arab Spring?
Look, during one of our conversations, Dr. McPam asked me, the question was simple. What do I think about Arab Spring? And I expressed my opinion. And I told him that, look, the seed of Arab Spring has been sown in Ghana. We are waiting for the triggers. And I began to tell him about some of the challenges. But before that, I had expressed similar opinion on Alert with Adam Bona. You can find out from Adam Bona. I had expressed Alert is a WhatsApp platform.
Oh, okay, a different WhatsApp platform.
Different WhatsApp platform in which Dr. Nyahuma Cruz Tamokla said that a civil uprising was imminent in Ghana. And then want to get jittery about it. And then I explained that what is the jittery about this when people mention Arab Spring and the civil uprising? I mean, these are common issues that are being dealt with elsewhere every day, and it's a civil way of showing dissent and other things. And I express the same thing over there. I don't want to mention a name because it will trigger another thing.
Get you.
But at the end of the day, a minister of state on the platform took me on and said that he will bring me to order. And that was the beginning of my problem. A minister of state on that platform. And Adam Bona knows that minister very well. I don't want to mention his name at all.
In all fairness, since you've just mentioned ministers and there are several of them, it will be fair if you let us know who is
Dominic Nitiwu. The Minister of Defense, who doesn't understand what civil uprising is, and who doesn't understand what Arab Spring is, said openly on the platform that he was going to take me on.
The defense minister was telling a senior police officer he was
going to take me, and he wrote it on the platform, and I have a copy of it. And Adam Bona confronted him over it and asked him to be very careful the way he confronts people on the platform. So that was the beginning of my ordeal. And because of that, and don't forget, this whole thing started with defense intelligence. Defense intelligence under the auspices of the defense minister. So when he said he was going to take me on, he was going to bring me to order, he had already initiated it.
And that's Dr. Benjamin Agbojo. He was acquitted and discharged by the court yesterday. He was actually in court facing charges of treason. 6 other individuals, however, they've been sentenced to death by hanging. And their lawyers have indicated that they will appeal the decision of the court. But he's been telling his story. And in fact, at 6 p.m. here on Upfront with Raymond Akwa, you get to hear more because we're going to bring you the full interview and our conversation with Dr. Benjamin Agbojo at 6 on Upfront. And of course, you can as well listen to it on Joy 99.7 FM Top Story and on Newsnight as well. But let's come back home and let's talk about education. Because the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition is calling for peace in areas plagued with conflict to ensure the protection of fundamental rights to education of children in these areas. Speaking at an event to mark International Day for Education, Chairman of GNEC, Kwesi Oyiye, stressed the need to safeguard the fundamental rights of children because education, according to him, is not a mere commodity. There's more in this report.
According to the United Nations, education is a human right, a public good, and a public responsibility. In light of this, it declared 24th January as International Day of Education in celebration of the role of education for peace and development. This year's commemoration is under the theme, Learning for Lasting Peace. It comes on the back of the reported cases of violence and incidents of insecurity in some communities across all over the world, including Ghana, which disrupted the peace needed to ensure the promotion of children's fundamental rights to education. Educationists believe there's a significant link between access to basic needs for learners and their personal development. This, they say, has hinged on peace. As Ghana enters an electioneering season, GNEC is advocating the right of every child to education devoid of any form of violence.
But for our initiative to create development around peace, we always ensure that learning outcomes are always achieved. And that is why I'm sure we have a lot of and the millions of dollars channeled into Gallup. But are we monitoring Gallup? If we are not doing that, we are bringing instability in the peace of education.
GNEC referenced recent happenings in Boko in the Upper East region and in Kwanta South in the Oti regions, where several lives have been lost as a result, leaving others with varying degrees of injuries. Some schools in both communities were shut down as a result, compelling children and teachers to stay away from the classroom. GNEC calls for tangible actions, urging state actors to prioritize a violence-free environment, ensuring that every child can safely access education.
Unfortunately, we have small pockets of conflict, which are ethnic conflicts that are affecting the continuous learning environment for our learners. And this does not augur very well with us. There are pockets of incidents that really emanate from the top processes, conversations that are discussed from politicians. And I'm saying this emphatically because experts within the security environment and educational environment have stated time without number that this problem can be resolved. In the case of Boku, over since 1960 thereabout till now, it can be resolved, and it is only government upon government that come each time that try to do a kind of cosmetic address of the issue. And therefore, if there is a judgment to that effect which the Supreme Court has delivered, it is expected that all parties would yield to that.
The theme, Learning for Lasting Peace, is aimed at triggering national call for a collective effort to safeguarding the future of Ghana's children, and for that matter, the world at large. Karen Oben's report, read to you.
And Mr. Kwesi Oyiye is the Greater Accra Regional Chair of GNEC. He's also the Senior Officer in Education and Professional Development Division with NAT. And he joins me here in the service. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
So now that you are more interested in conflict areas and how that is impacting the lives of children who are of school-going age, let's start from Boko. What is your monitoring telling you?
Okay, so the intel that we are picking is that there is relative calmness within the school environment. So school sections are actually ongoing, and then the teachers are going to school, school children are going to school. But however, we want the security apparatus to intensify their intelligence in order to surmise any kind of incidents that will come from anywhere, because that is very important for the safe school environment and for the continuous study of these learners and their facilitators together.
I ask because we know that in Boko, for example, some state institutions, they've closed down their offices because of the insecurity situation there. Senate this week, small arms commission that they relocated all their staff to other parts of the country from Boko. We know that some banks, a lot of state institutions and private institutions, they've moved out of Boko because it is simply not safe to continue to stay there because of the conflict. Is it your understanding that in terms of schooling, it's not affected much?
Yes, so it's unfortunate in the first place for state institutions that provide service directly and indirectly to the community, and the learners and their facilitators are even leaving the children in the community. We have to know as a country that schools belong to communities, and the people who matter that try to inflict passion or cause violence or any form of aggression within the communities are also human beings that have grown right from toddler stage to adulthood. Incidentally, when they transit from one basic education to the secondary, and possibly for some of them, by then of hard work or so, transit to the tertiary, they all come to work within the school environment. And these are the people that need to speak to peace and to ensure that there is relative peace within the school environment. Because you see, we want the school to be safe. Once the school is safe, teachers will be safe to work. Remember, teachers working in these environments are not indigent from those areas alone. You have teachers that are coming from other parts of the country serving within this community. So it's very important to ensure that there is always total and quality peace within.
But do you have information that teachers are working or some have left?
So as we speak right now, our teachers are post. But we are saying that there should be improved security and intelligence on the ground to ensure that we do not have any form of conflict arising in the area. Because that actually truncates educational development as we are talking about. We don't want to truncate the education of our young ones, because we have a policy that says that our children cannot wait. So if the children cannot wait each day, what it means is that they have to go to school to engage and be taught. And they have to grow through the process, develop. They need to be nurtured and taught. But in doing this, we need peace in order to ensure that this learning atmosphere is quite serene.
Beyond Boko, I know that sometimes there are reported cases of violence in other parts of the country. To what extent does this affect the total development of the Ghanaians, especially those that are caught up in these conflict areas?
So I'll once again come back to say that the school environment should be safe. It should be safe because our children belong to us in those communities. So those who try to fend passions of small pockets of violence are people that have also gone through the school environment, have gone through the confines of school. And we expect that they are able to control their passion, no matter what it is, either political, economic issues, or ethnic issues. We need to let our emotional intelligence speak to us. And that is why, as we speak now, with the current standard-based curriculum and the SHS curriculum that is coming up and the Common Core, what have been put in there also is soft skills, where we ensure that this time, practically, these are intangible soft skills, like tolerance, like trying to understand
each other, trying to engage in public speaking, trying to also advocate, trying to respect other people's opinion. And all these things that we have put in there for the learners to learn, which is facilitated by the teachers, these are also enshrined in our constitution and other legislation within the district assembly environment. So we want to call once again on all those who matter, especially children are innocent, facilitators as teachers are innocent. And so those who matter, especially politicians and other community leaders, to ensure that we have relative peace within the school environment.
But beyond sometimes these tribal and ethnic violence that we report on, what are some of the other factors that is inhibiting the sound development of our kids in schools?
So I'll basically talk about the school and the community relationship. So we have said that it is the communities that own the school, but we have state agencies like Ghana Education Service and other auxiliary agencies of the Ministry of Education that ensure that we fast-track processes of learning within the school environment. However, sometimes you have just small conflicts like community people wanting to come and play on the school field.
Right. It's become an issue now.
It becomes a big issue.
A lot of school parks being taken away by private developers.
Unbelievable. And you even have sometimes schools that are a bit distant away from the communities. You have community members going in there to defecate in the schools, in the classrooms. And they do not care. It's just because possibly they do not have any better places of
but the school can never be your place of convenience.
Of course, but these are people that we are also saying that either they have continued the education or are still in education, have passed through the walls of the school. Yet they forget that some kind of knowledge, they have acquired some knowledge because the teachers have ensured that things within the curriculum that go to build their whole personality, aside the knowledge and skills that is acquired, and the soft skills that we are talking about, they try to imbibe them. But what happens? We want to ensure that we put ourselves together to be emotionally intelligent and not to destabilize the school environment.
I went to a school, Rage Experimental. The last time I went there, basically the entire school compound has been taken over by private development. The school PTA, they protested. They have petitioned the regional coordinating council to do something about it. The matter remains unresolved, and the lives of these kids are threatened every day by development. And sometimes you wonder, and this is a public school, sometimes you wonder the level of protection the state gives to children, because in other countries it is supreme. Sure. When they come here, it's like you're on your own.
Yeah.
What is GNEC doing in this direction?
So GNEC as a civil society group is a civil society group of over 40 different NGOs, including the CBOs. And you also have the Ghana National Association of Teachers, also part of GNEC. We have some objectives to ensure that the Ghanaian child goes to school, basically, and to acquire knowledge and skills to transform himself and society. However, one of the key issues we have been advocating for is that where we have the Ministry of Education allocating funding for resources within the school, i.e. capitation grant, school feeding, which is a big issue in terms of and other issues like the school infrastructure, provision of DEXs, then refurbishment of dilapidated schools, and even, come to think about it, the basics, books, pencil, erasers. You go to places, children do not have this, so they do not have relative peace.
Sometimes it actually looks like punishment to go to a public school.
Of course, but it's unfortunate. As I speak to you, our public schools are the best schools in Ghana now, because you have teachers that are well trained, they have degrees, they have their second degrees, and some are even offering PhD. So as we speak, we want the kind of expertise that the teachers have acquired to imbibe them into the children, because we want to have a new look for Ghana.
Of course.
But a new look for Ghana means that our children have to be safe and sound, and within their learning space, they have to have relative peace and not a kind of conflict or confusion within their mind.
And are you getting solution to these concerns?
Yeah, but the advocacy is key on the ground. Incidentally, as a civil society group, sometimes we are confronted with funding.
Of course.
And so we expect that one of the things that the Bretton Woods institutions or the donor agency would have to be doing is to also redirect funds to civil society groups to ensure that the advocacy is strong. We monitor government projects on the ground. For instance, we talk about GALOP, the Ghana Learning Accountability Project, which the World Bank has given the government of Ghana millions of dollars to ensure that we have accountability and quality of education improved. But civil society group is limited in trying to go down there and do the monitoring. So though we are doing it, it's not on a holistic scale, but gradually we develop our own instrument, collect data, analyze it, and then we share this data with government and the World Bank to get to know what is happening.
But have you taken this advocacy to the ministry?
Yes, of course. NEC is already part of the National Education Steering Committee, and therefore we have the national chair in the person of Mr. Joseph Lomwaji that is part of that team. So there are some of the issues we table, but as a group, we still go down together with our affiliates, our DFACT, within the communities to ensure that the teaching and learning process within our learning environment is sound and safe. So one of the key goals is to ensure our children or school going in are safe. Yes, we know we have close to about 1 million of students out of school, learners out of school, but we are
and what's the reason for them being out of school?
Yeah, but
because education at the public level is free.
Yes. Sometimes you have migrant parents. Okay. You also have parents that do not actually have. When you talk about the core poor, we have parents in Ghana today that cannot afford 3 square meals for their children.
And the school is supposed to provide meals for every child. The access to education is free. So the excuse.
Of course, if you talk about the school feeding program, it's a big no for us. Now, what is happening even within that sector? The school feeding program came as an intervention to help the learners to nourish, first of all, their brain.
And to encourage people to actually go to school.
To go to school, of course, that's the flip side of it. So, but incidentally, you have politicians that would like to trumpet and say, oh, this intervention has increased school enrollment. But that is not what we are looking at. We are looking at what goes into the learning output of the child, for the child to be stable in the school. But incidentally, the school feeding is nothing to write home about. You know, in Ghana now, government is owning the caterers. Yeah. And they cannot speak about it because they are party folks that have been given small jobs to do. However, it is only civil society group that can speak to these issues and ensure that, look, interventions that are good, that are working, have to be continued. So why not support us to work very hard and ensure that these feeding being provided to the learners are of quality, one good balanced diet. For these our children will go a long way to develop their brains and to stabilize them in school, and we'll have a very good career progression for these children in the school.
Before I let you go, your final words as we wrap up on this.
Yeah, so I would like to say that we actually are within the period of International Day of Education, which is always celebrated on 24th January globally. So in Ghana, the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, together with Renewed Ghana Foundation, in collaboration with World Bank, celebrated that yesterday. And then the theme was learning for lasting peace. So we are saying that even though we are saying we are teaching and facilitating learning in the school environment, we want relative peace for the children so that all those kind of confusions and things get out. And the teachers themselves must also be emotionally stable. But in doing all these things, we cannot leave our social settings, the communities in which the school environment is situated, to ensure that community members also keep the peace. But as we go to election, to the polls, we expect and crave the indulgence of politicians, that we are pleading with them. People that make hate speech because they are paid for have to stop. Because where school processes are truncated, the school environment is truncated, is discontinued because of violence and conflict, then it means that our children have to leave the environment. And unfortunately, sometimes our teachers are also caught in the process. Some are maimed. And unfortunately, in the last conflict that erupted in Oti, a teacher lost her life. So
that's sad.
Yes, that's quite sad. So we are praying and calling upon all politicians and state actors to ensure that we have relative peace within the school environment, because the year is still ripe, and we are saying that the theme for the Global International Education Week is learning for lasting peace. Okay. And therefore, this has to remain in the minds of all learners, all facilitators, all politicians, and everybody as a whole.
All right, I'd like to say thank you very much, Mr. Kwesi Ayeyi, for coming to Oyeyi. He is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition, and they are advocating for safe environment for our children to learn, and of course in harmony as well. You're also watching the pulse here on Joy News, and we'll take a short break. When we'll come back, we will go to the election headquarters because it's getting really interesting. Stay on. So for education, let's turn attention to the environment and, of course, health. The environmental officer at the Second Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Abdul Karim Hudu, says the assembly will embark on a massive typhoid vaccination for all food vendors in the metropolis to rid the metro of the disease. Speaking to Joy News on day one of the STMA Joy News Operation Clean Your Environment campaign, he explained a screening done for most food vendors on typhoid showed positive, hence the need for the vaccination. Correspondent in Natalia Kwanzaa, who joined the team and has come through with this report.
The Second Accra Metropolitan Assembly, through the EU-funded Twin Cities in Sustainable Partnership Project in collaboration with Joy News, has commenced the unannounced visit to inspect the sanitary condition of households and commercial facilities in the metropolis as part of the campaign dubbed Operation Clean Your Surroundings.
From now up to middle of the year, we'll be visiting various communities unannounced to inspect various food joint, public toilet facilities, households, and a host of others. In fact, we'll be going to the hotels and then the restaurants as well. So this is basically to remind the public of their responsibility to make sure that they keep their surroundings clean, make sure that they work in accordance with standards that the Assembly through environmental health has given them to follow. So that's basically what this campaign is all about. So we'll be again going out unannounced. The next will be at the Second Metro, and then our next visit will be Escarpeten. And what we plan doing is that we're following up to some of the areas where we visited today, and we'll be visiting for the next two meetings.
The program started from the Takoradi sub-metro with visits to 8 food preparation and vending points, 2 public places of convenience, 2 bakeries, a flour mill, a drinking bar, and transport terminal. The nuisance found include lack of standard dustbin, exposed foods to silt, to dust and flies, insanitary drains with refuse, preparing food under insanitary condition, selling food without medical certificates of fitness, accumulation of particles packed hazardly, which is likely to harbor reptiles, rodents, and cause accidents on premises. The task force, headed by the Metro Environmental Health Officer Abdul Karim Hudu, issued caution notice to operators of some facilities visited.
Operation Clean Your Surroundings. That's what we have started for the SCMA Twin City initiative. Our aim is to come out and then look at environmental issues in eating premises and then advise, caution them so that next time when we come, we wouldn't leave them. So far, we have gone to 9 eating premises. This includes 2 chop bars, food vendors, 8. Then we have gone to 2 public toilets. The major issues were, the first one is the medical cards that they are supposed to go to hospital and then hospital will declare them fit. Most of them were not having it. Some have it and the cards expired. So those ones too, we have advised them to go and do it so that we'll come back and check. If they don't do it, then we'll close down their food premises or the chop bars.
Let's get some reaction to this matter in a brief chat with the PRO for the second Takoradi Metropolitan Assembly, John Lecha. John, you're welcome to the pulse here on Joy News. I'm curious, why has it taken this long, or is this something that you do periodically? Because I would assume that, I mean, we shouldn't be having this issue, knowing very well that people patronize some of these foods on the market, and to think that some of them have issues with typhoid, that's more dangerous for the consumer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Elton. Yes, this program that we've been doing, and as you may be aware, sanitary condition has been an issue of concern to the general public. So as an assembly, we've over the years put in place measures to make sure that people, identify themselves to their responsibilities to make sure that they keep their surroundings clean. And you remember recently, the government has introduced regular sanitation day cleanup. These are some of initiatives that over the years, the Assembly has also implemented to make sure that, we draw the public attention to cleanliness. Yes, we are embarked on this campaign because we believe that it's time that we have to make sure we enforce the bylaws. We remind people of their responsibilities to keep their environment clean. Finally, for us in Second Takoradi, through a project that we are implementing called Twin Cities Sustainable Partnership, being funded by EU. They've given us some funds to make sure that we embark on this exercise to alert the public, to know the dangers in sanitary conditions. And that's the reason why this time the Assembly has set up this task force to make sure that they go around, get the public to clean their surroundings in order to make sure that we prevent some of these communicable illnesses that will be reported in the metropolis.
But how widespread is this on the market?
Widespread?
Yes, I'm asking if this is so widespread in the market.
Oh, well, yes. We've been monitoring reports from various health centers and other facilities that, we know that the issue of typhoid, has become an issue within the metropolis. What it means is that, other service providers have not been up to task. So, making sure that people get this illness and have to report to health facilities. And that's the reason why we are making sure that we extend this campaign throughout the whole metropolis to make sure that we cannot eradicate it totally. We are not too sure, at least to reduce it to the barest minimum.
But you were out today. Tell us how it went.
Well, as usual, we visited some locations, we visited some eateries, we visited corn mills, we visited, inspected the taxi terminal, and then also the secondary market, the secondary commercial vehicle terminal. Indeed, Elson, I mean, it informs us or give us all the indication that we have a lot of work to do. The majority of our people out there seems to relax when it comes to their responsibility on environmental sanitation. Really today as well, we issued some notices to members of the public. They've been giving caution. We're going back to the same facilities in the coming weeks to make sure that they've really followed the instructions given them. In fact, with our initial outings, we don't intend to prosecute or arrest. We are using our initial outings to educate and also direct the public or those who would be found to, have issues to put their house in shape.
And if they don't,
come again.
If they do not,
yes, that is when the arrest and prosecution will come in. That's when the arrest and prosecution will come in. So we've made them aware that we'll be coming back. And again, you won't tell them when we'll be coming. And once we come and we are not satisfied with what you have done, definitely then we have to send you to court, prosecute you in line with our bylaws, and for court to determine what your facility we should do to your facility, whether we should close it down. That one the court will have to determine. So yes, at a point we'll definitely arrest and prosecute.
Right, John, so for those diagnosed with typhoid, what happens to them? Will you ensure that they are not back at the market? Are you ensuring that they go through the proper treatment?
Actually, the typhoid cases normally, are from, let me say, consumers of, some food that probably you cannot, for now, know where they bought those food or whatever they got them. But for the vendors, those who don't have the medical certificate, we are making sure that they go through the process for them to be certified by a medical doctor to ensure that they're healthy to sell, prepare food within the metropolis. So yes, sure.
So John Lecha is the public relations officer with the secondary Accra Metropolitan Assembly. I think we've lost him. John, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now loud and clear. So what next? When are you going out?
Well, like I said earlier on, for our schedule, we don't announce the date.
Okay.
Because, yes, we don't want them to know when the team will be coming. So, but I can tell you that our next visit will be the Escadicatan Sub-Metro. But we schedule ourselves that we'll be visiting the 3 sub-metros we have within the metropolis, we visited Accra, we visited Sekindi, so the next will be Escadicatan Sub-Metro. But as to the time and then the specific location that we
cannot communicate.
That one will be determined that very day that will be going out.
All right, I would like to say thank you very much, and we are with you on this exercise to ensure cleanliness and healthy Sekindi Accra. This we are on board as far as the cleanup exercise that the assembly is undertaking, and we'll be with you every step.
Thank you very much. And let me also use the opportunity to also, on behalf of Management West, thank Multimedia and Joy especially for partnering the assembly for this course, and we thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. John Lecha. He is the public relations officer with the Sekindi Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Well, that's it for today's edition of The Pulse here on Joy News. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, to wrap it up for the week. My name is Elton, but we have more stories on myjoyonline.com. But on radio at 5:30, we have top story with Evan Spencer. He's looking at the OASP decision to discontinue all cases against Madam Cecilia Dapaah. We will explore it with other people. We'll have a response from Yoko as well. We have more of that also on Joy News Prime at 7 p.m. But between 6 and 7, it is upfront. You don't want to miss the story of Dr. Benjamin Agwezo. He had a sit down with my colleague Raymond Aqua to tell his story and then to give you more insight on what went through his head at the time he was facing the death sentence. That's it. Tomorrow we'll meet with you. Have a good evening.
Blessing, do you know of any good medical school I can take Kofi to?
Oh, Fifi, is that why you're looking all moody? Then I have some good news for you. The College of Medicine and Allied Sciences, COMAS, Accra, Ghana, is a degree-awarding institution, and they offer Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery using the Graduate Entry Medical Programs, Bachelor of Diagnostic Imaging, and BSc Health Information Management. All these programs are accredited by GTEC. Their bilingual curriculum prepares you to consult in French.
But I'm worried about admissions.
Admissions are ongoing. Contact us on Facebook or on Instagram at info.comas or call us on 0208-456-556 or send them an email info@comas.edu.gh. COMAS, the citadel of a holistic professional medical education.
We've had news file over the weekend and an interesting part of the conversation focused.
Oh no, we are out of range.
Oh, don't worry, Daddy. I have Alexa in my bag.
Alex, what?
Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana and play Joy FM.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Listen to Joy FM, Hits FM, Love FM, live on your Amazon Echo. Listen to your favorite multimedia radio stations live on your Amazon Echo device by saying, Alexa, open Multimedia Ghana, play Joy FM or Hits FM or Love FM. Or catch up on your favorite podcast by saying, Alexa, play, and then the name of your favorite podcast from Multimedia Ghana. For a list of all podcasts available, say Alexa. Ask Multimedia Ghana to browse programs.
On air. And we are back like we never lost signal.
Alexa, welcome to Multimedia.
After the marriage, you get the certificate before you get into the marriage. So you don't know what is ahead of you.
What would make your partner walk out of the relationship?
Probably when he finds me cheated. I don't know.
So, come on, if you handle the body or what? What's his waist size?
When
I get home, I'll explain it.
Also, Papa, 2 years or so, 3 years ago, I can say, I can't pray.
I want to go into politics. You want to go into politics? Not 4 years, not 5 years.
Right. If you love me right.
You're welcome to Let's Talk Showbiz, today's edition, and I'm so excited because I am somewhere in Accra. Today we get to do something different from the usual, and I am doing it all the way from the gym. And I'm not doing it alone. I'm here with the famous Priscilla Opoku-Agyeman. We all know her as Amofe Patri, and that's because she has something that's definitely going to bring a lot of celebrities here. So just come with me. as I take you through the conversation and perhaps shake somebody small. You understand what I'm saying? Come with me. Hello, beautiful. Hey, listen, dear. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Do you do this often?
Yeah.
Wow. Some of us, it will take a long time before we get there. And it looks like what you have been doing, you're trying to make it bigger.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Well, I realize that we need a community here, especially for us women. I think there's a lot of misinformation, and so maybe I could help with that.
Okay. With that misinformation, you see, if you're somebody who is asking or you're wondering who this lady, she doesn't need any introduction because she's one of the finest actresses. When you talk of skits in Ghana, she started with the likes of Calibers and quite a number of people, and today she's here. But for some time now, if you go on her social media pages, you see that she's heavily doing this. That is because she has a reason. I mean, I've asked her before, but today I just want to be part of her world and just also get to know her plans for 2024, but most importantly, why we are all here. So first of all, I will start with this. Maybe I should join you.
Okay, sure. You're welcome.
Okay. All right.
You look really good, by the way.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
You look like you're ready for business.
I'm not going to do some, but you just watching. So, I mean, tell me, as you said, so this is something you want to communicate to the community.
Yes.
Now, if you're communicating with the community, it looks like, per what I saw on social media, I've seen a lot of celebrities calling on people to come and do. Are we coming here because you want to exercise with us? You want to communicate with us? What exactly is this whole thing you're doing about?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to create a community, a safe space for people who are health conscious, people who are fitness enthusiasts. I have been through a lot when it comes to, my body and how I view myself, even personally, even before it comes to the outside world. And so I think there are people who could do with some help.
Yeah. Well, some people do it, and I believe that you also need to take care of your health, because some of us, for some time now, we are expanded. I mean, we'll come back to talk more about all of this. But of course, how will you describe the year 2023 for you as Ahofe Patri, as Priscilla?
Well, 2023 was interesting. It didn't start very well because I lost my mom in the very first year. But I think that also kind of turned some switch on for me. So after that, it was just great things happening. I found a new zeal, a new love, and it was just work, and fun.
I'm so sorry about the loss, because I think that it sort of affected you so much.
Yeah.
But how were you able to recover from that? Because I know how close you and your mom were. So I don't know, like, what did you have to do to recover? Be back and then be smiling like you're doing with me right now.
What I'm doing now, really, this is my safe place. This is where I like to tackle my demons. So this is what I was doing.
Hi. But I think after the burial and everything, you sort of started getting, I saw an endorsement deal, and then I saw you being more active and also moving around doing a lot of things. And so how would you describe after that time, losing mom, trying to get back on your feet, from now, that time till December, how would you describe that era?
You are very right. You can see more of me now. I think it taught me that nothing is certain, and everything, time is so short, time is fleeting, and so you don't have to be worried about things that you really have no control about, because 1 minute you could be alive and well, and the next minute you're no more. And when I say this, I know what I mean, because trust me, I think even my mom, she passed in the evening, and even during the morning, I don't think she knew. I don't think she knew she was going to pass. I don't think she knew she wouldn't see the following morning. So Like, you need to cherish every moment, make the best out of it, really, yeah, and take care of yourself.
It's the taking care of yourself part that I'm more concerned about, because, you know, we're living, but sometimes we don't take care of ourselves.
No, we don't.
We think we are fine. We eat and we just move around. So I like the path that you have taken. But of course, after all of this, let's say 2023 is behind us.
Yeah.
We are in 2024 and you are starting it this way.
Yes.
I've seen Calibos endorse it. Maybe it's because you are close to Calibos, but I've seen quite a number of celebrities also. And so I want to ask on 27th.
Yes.
This is, everybody is going to converge here.
Come to Fit Trip in Jolly.
And when we come, it's going to be exercise.
Yes, so it's a fitness fair. What it is we would have workouts. Would have power yoga. Power yoga is quite different from yoga. Power yoga works more on your endurance and stamina. So men, please, when you hear power yoga, don't run away. Please come. Trust me, you will enjoy it. And then after that, we'll have body aerobics, an aerobics class. And then there will be games. There will be lots and lots of games. There's a DJ, so music going through. And then there's a fair. So everything fitness and health related. If you've been looking for, and this happens a lot because anytime maybe I post something, people, where did you get that? Where can I buy that? So I decided that let's create a space where you know you can find that thing you've been looking for that you didn't know where to find. You can find it there. Like, I don't want people to come and ask me where I found my outfit anymore. Come to Smash It. You would find it and more. So there will be clothing, shoes, supplements, food, so much.
And I can't wait. And it's happening when 27th?
27th. It's a Saturday.
Okay,
so you have no excuse. It's from 8 to 12.
8 to 12.
Yeah.
8 to 12. Some of you sleep too much. Wake up on Saturday and come and get some exercise. I believe for some people, once you start, you never know. You might want to continue to do it here and there. Okay, so whilst we're all looking forward to 27th of January, which Priscilla and Hope Patrick has started for all of us, let's look forward to a good year. So with this project that you're doing right now, once you're done with the project, any plans for 2024?
Well, I just want whatever God plans for me, really. But what I want to say is this is not going to be the last time. We are going to improve on it. It's going to come back bigger. We might even move to other regions, so watch out.
Watch out for it. Now, Priscilla, there's something going on. Ghana. You see, the Black Stars, we love them.
Yes.
We all love the Black Stars. But the thing is that if it's not nothing, we can't do anything about it. Of course, our first match, we lost out. The second one, I think so far, we've got the biggest cheers because they did play a lot well. But I mean, I don't know if you've been following the AFCONs and all that. You haven't? Oh my goodness. But so far, even though you haven't followed, what are your general impressions about the Black Stars winning AFCONs? I mean, going to win trophies here and there and all that.
We haven't won a trophy in a long time.
Yeah, about over 40 years now.
Wow. Yes, we weren't born.
Yes, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. So, I wish them all the best. I think what we can do is support them. And I pray they also feel our support and then they know that we are counting on them, to bring something home.
Well, we can only wish them all the best. It's just that sometimes the insults, I'm sure you've seen some of the insults.
I have seen it. Ghanaians are very mean people. So the players should forgive us and understand us and know that it's because of love for them and love for the game.
All right.
But try insults.
The insult there. But most importantly, I want to remind you that on the 27th of January, which is this month, you can't afford to miss out on it. If you are not taking care of your health, if you're not someone who is not good with fitness and all that, Uncle Patrice says that come 27th, when you come here with everything that will be done from here, maybe you learn a thing or two. And then most importantly, do something for yourself. I have spoken, but I'm also going to give them a chance to look into the camera and tell you more because you need to take care of yourself. Over to you.
Okay, so my sis here has said everything on the 27th. Come, let's have fun. Listen, it's during the Christmas, we were going out getting dressed up. This time around, you can come out dressed down and casual and still have fun. Let's exercise, let's interact. You can learn something, I promise you.
All right, so if we want any information with regards to this, how do we contact you? How do we get through to you?
You can go on my page. It's Preslopoku Ajuman on Instagram and Facebook. All the information you need is there. Or come to Fitrib. Yeah.
All right. So go on there, get all the information. Until then, I'm going to try and learn a thing or two from her. You will see some. The ones I tried. If it's not good, don't laugh though. But most importantly, my name is Doreen Adio. This is Let's Talk Showbiz, and you know how we do it. Expect more of these as time goes on. A very big thank you to Saponis, to Ike, to all the amazing people who make it happen right there. Until then, have a wonderful evening.
And wave it like that unto Jesus. Hey! Don't be tired. Everybody, come on. Hey, let's sing. Everybody sing. We have the final say in your life. What to me, oh, sing yes, what do sing yes, what do hallelujah, my chain choir. Oni madeni nara. Oh, menina. Otumi abinina. Oh, Senya Yesu atma. Hey. Senya Yesu atma.
before us.
Good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up, Electricity Company of Ghana raises concern about the implementation of value-added tax on electricity consumers, saying it will be difficult to execute the policy.
See more of this letter as a letter setting in motion an inquiry into all of this.
And this was a clear directive.
It's a directive, but if you're given a directive and there are bottlenecks, you don't go implementing a directive that has bottlenecks.
We have an analysis on that for you. Also in this bulletin, President Akufo-Addo to commission a modern 97-kilometer railway line for 2 modern trains to begin work in March this year.
Running 120 kilometers per hour. So you can imagine the fastness of it and how many times it can be running in a day. Currently, we are also expecting 2 trains.
Plus $300 million World Bank cash to be credited to the Bank of Ghana's account in the coming weeks as the Washington-based lender expects the support to fast-track Ghana's economic recovery.
The operation has been approved yesterday by the World Bank Board, and the funds should be transferred in the next couple of weeks.
We've got details of these and many others lined up for you. Please stay. For your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka. On to our very first story. In the wake of disagreements over the government's decision to impose a new value-added tax on electricity consumers beyond the lifeline threshold, the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, the implementation body, has raised concerns about the law imposing the tax. Although ECG and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, known as NEDCO, had been directed to implement the tax from January 1, 2024, ECG says it is yet to implement it. Speaking on Joy News' PM Express, Managing Director of ECG, Samuel Dubik Mahama, said ECG cannot merely respond to the letter from the government, especially when there are bottlenecks with the provision in the law that was passed as far back as 2013.
2013, the value-added tax bill was passed, Act 870, which set out the parameters in the first schedule and also sections 35 and 30 to 37 for the places that should VAT should be charged on, like a dwelling place and all of that, which makes it mostly commercial and residential places. This has been a very thorny issue since 2013, and its implementation has also actually been a headache. If the thing is not being implemented, and there's a paragraph, the last paragraph says you